As teachers, we often wonder what is the best way to provide instruction for our students. The reality is that there are a variety of ways that we can help our students meet their learning goals. There are more teacher-centered approaches, such as direct instruction, and much more student-centered approaches, such as inquiry-based instruction, or approaches that fall somewhere in the middle, such as guided discovery learning. And asking ourselves what is the best way is often like asking ourselves what's most important when it comes to growing crops or plants. Is the most important part the sun, the rain, or is it the soil? The truth is that all of them have a place and are a necessity. So with that in mind, we're going to look at this instructional approach, which is called inquiry-based instruction. Now, inquiry-based instruction is the art of developing challenging situations in which students are asked to observe and question phenomena. They're supposed to pose explanations of what they observe, devise and conduct experiments in which data is collected to support or contradict theories. Now notice it's the theories of students as often as we can. Students are asked to analyze data, draw conclusions from experimental data, design and build models, or any combination of this. So this type of learning situation is meant to be open-ended in the sense that it doesn't aim to achieve a single right answer for a particular question being addressed. Instead, it's to involve students more in the process of observing, posing questions, engaging in experimentation or exploration, and of course, learning to analyze and reason. Inquiry-based instruction, or what we call IBI, inquiry-based instruction tends to produce what we really desire, which is transferable critical thinking skills and significant domain benefits such as improved achievement, improved attitudes towards the subject as well. Now, it's not just a free-form approach. Teaching and learning in inquiry-based instruction has very clear phases: orientation, conceptualization, investigation, conclusion, and discussion. So at a minimum, we're going to help our students walk through these 5 phases. Now, if you want to know what each of those phases is defined as, here you have definitions, as well as potential subphases. For example, we want to orient our students to the problem, and we do this by fostering curiosity about a topic and addressing some sort of learning challenge through a problem statement. We help get students started in this way. But then there's this conceptualization process, where students are supposed to state a theory based and or a hypothesis based on what's been proposed to them. And this has at least 2 steps. There's the questioning phase, as well as students generating their own hypothesis. So as we move through these 5 phases, it's important to know what is it that we mean by each phase and what subphases are most relevant to the learning goal. Okay. Now there are challenges, not just benefits, but challenges to inquiry-based instruction. Some of these challenges include: how can we assess and measure the quality of the inquiry that kids are engaged in as it's being implemented? How can we as teachers use questions and discussion, as well as our students using questions and discussion to encourage more effective inquiry? Another challenge is: how can we move beyond thinking of content and inquiry as these 2 separate, mutually exclusive elements, and instead understand that students can be successful in learning and mastering content and becoming proficient at inquiry at the same time? As well as, how can we better manage an effective inquiry classroom? The managerial aspects of a process that looks like this, that is largely reliable and dependent on students' exploration and pursuits, can be a challenge to manage. With that in mind, let's take a look at an example of an inquiry-based instruction project that took place just down the road from the campus that I'm at right now.
From GeoInquiry, we learned about ourselves.
GeoInquiry taught us how to act.
My favorite part of GeoInquiry was passing out reusable bags we have made out of t-shirts.
GeoInquiry taught us how to have grit.
I liked GeoInquiry because it helped me visualize and see that we're all connected to the earth.
My name is Cherie Barton. I teach 4th graders at Madison Middle School in Rexburg, Idaho, and this is our National Geographic GeoInquiry project.
During the ask phase, We explored a map of Idaho and saw that all rivers flow to the ocean. Idaho is connected strongly to the sea.
They started studying about the Pacific Ocean and found out about the gyres and the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Wow, they wanted to know more right after that, and they started studying anything they could get their hand on.
Watching a video about the ocean helped us ask more questions about how we can be responsible for keeping the ocean clean.
After a lot of collaboration, our class decided to ask, how can we better educate our community about the dilemma plastic creates in the ocean? How can we help the city of Rexburg reduce, reuse, and recycle plastic bags?
Did you know that the number of plastics in the ocean can't be estimated?
We researched how to take action, protect sea creatures, and find ways to stop the use of non-reusable bags.
We called local stores and found out what happens to the plastic bags that are put into their recycling bins. One large grocery store's bags are being sent to a place that does not even recycle plastic bags.
We talked to adults a lot of times.
Calling stores to collect information was scary at first, but then over time we were able to talk with more confidence. Our passion for this project started when we saw pictures of the trash in the ocean. In order to get others interested, we knew they needed to see it, so we made a website to help others visualize the problem with plastic bags.
We made a map to visualize how far recycled plastic bags have to travel to get to recycling plants in the United States.
We started to organize information about what the 3 stores in our town do well and what they could do to be better with their plastic bag efforts.
In the visualize phase, we came up with ideas to share with lawmakers about the use of plastic bags in Idaho.
One of the great problem-solving experiences we had was at first the students thought that what they wanted to do was help Rexburg, Idaho change legislation. And as they were researching this, they found that Idaho has a law that prevents local governments from making any legislation about plastic bags. Instead of thinking this is a dead end, they decided to call our local senator, have him come into class, talk about how laws were made, and what do you do when you don't agree with a law.
One of my favorite parts was in the create phase when we made reusable bags out of t-shirts.
We ended up sewing over 400 t-shirt bags.
Our teams created presentations for the 3 largest stores in town. We wanted to tell them about the harms of plastic, applaud their efforts, and let them know of some options for them to step up their game.
So the students all submitted names that they thought would work for our GeoInquiry project. Eventually we came up with Skip the Bag, Save the Sea. Then another student went home and designed the logo, and they came back with the idea that we needed business cards.
I really liked the ACT phase because we got to go to different stores and talk to the managers about how they can better recycle.
Different groups presented to different stores and we extended specific challenges to each store.
Each of the 3 stores we visited committed to making changes.
We tried to teach people in our community how our actions connect to the ocean.
Even though some people are bigger than you, you can still talk to them.
My favorite part of GeoInquiry was when we were able to pass out bags at Rollins and help educate people about the harms of plastic bags in the ocean.
So when we were having one of our class councils, one of the students raised his hand and said, Mrs. Barton, I know what we need to do. On Halloween, we need to take our business cards with us. And when we trick or treat, we can knock on the door, say trick or treat, get the candy, and then hand them a business card and said, can I tell you about my school project? And please go to our website. Prior to Halloween, our website had about 200 hits. 3 days after Halloween, our website increased to over 1,000 hits.
Our class wrote a letter to the legislators to ask them to be more aware of the ways Idahoans can help reduce the use of plastic bags.
A few representatives have responded that they are drafting a bill to repeal House Bill 372.
So the day before we went to visit the grocery stores, one of the students came to me and said, Mrs. Barton, I feel important. When I asked him why he felt important, he said, because we are doing important things and we know how to change the world now. What did GeoInquiry teach you?
Teamwork and letting everyone in were very important things to learn. So was making friends.
One thing about being professional is if someone says no, you gotta keep your cool.
One of the things I liked most about GeoInquiry is that me and my classmates got to really connect with each other.
We learned more about ourselves, what we could do, and even about others in our class.
After teaching school for 29 years, I can honestly say I don't think I've ever had a project that pulls students together as well, crosses curriculum, and keeps student engagement the way GeoInquiry does.
GeoInquiry helped us. It's more than just wearing a t-shirt.
Even though we are only fourth graders,
we are making a difference.